It's a very famous photo, because she did this in front of people, being from one of the last uncontacted tribes in the world.
Joe Rogan's revelations are always unsettling for the average person, and this time he's lifting the veil on the tribe that has been defying all the laws of physics for centuries.
They came from Africa about 60,000 years ago, and were the fiercest tribe and the hardest to overcome.
How do they manage to survive and thrive in the most remote regions, with almost no resources? What is their life like, without modern technology and conveniences? Let's find out what Joe discovered about these truly fascinating and unique tribal people together as we explore. Those of the Hadza tribe. While the Maasai are known for their deep connection to cattle and their strength as warriors, the next fascinating tribe we are about to show presents a striking contrast with their hunter-gatherer lifestyle. Living in the same region of East Africa, this unique tribe offers a glimpse into an ancestral way of life, vastly different, but equally captivating. The Hadza tribe, one of the last hunter-gatherer societies, has thrived in the savannas of Tanzania for thousands of years. Their survival depends on a deep connection with nature, demonstrating ancient skills that have been refined over generations. The Hadza live by gathering, hunting, and foraging, coexisting harmoniously with the earth and its resources. Their knowledge of plants and animals is unparalleled, allowing them to quickly adapt to their environment. Central to their way of life is hunting, where the men use traditional bows and arrows. They often set out at dawn, eye scanning the horizon for any sign of movement. Tension builds as they pursue their prey using patience and strategy to secure food. This ritual is not just about subsistence, it is a cultural pillar that strengthens community bonds and fosters resilience. However, the pressures of modernization loom over them. With agriculture encroaching on their territory, the Hadza way of life faces unprecedented threats. The tribe's expertise also extends to honey gathering, a highly valued resource. The women climb towering trees to reach beehives, a task filled with danger and excitement. The sweet taste of success lingers in the air, but so do the threats of aggressive bees. The adrenaline rush is palpable as they face this challenge, demonstrating their courage. Even so, honey is not just a delicacy, it is a vital source of energy that sustains their active lifestyle. At sunset, across the plains, the tribe gathers around the campfire, sharing stories and laughter. This communal experience reinforces their unity. However, whispers of change disturb the serenity. Modern influences threaten their traditions, sparking a struggle to preserve their identity. The tension between maintaining their heritage and adapting to new realities intensifies, leaving the Hadza at a crossroads. Maasai tribe, guardians of the cattle. First, and one of the most captivating on the list, is the Maasai tribe, considered one of the most fascinating ethnic groups in East Africa, especially found in Kenya, and Tanzania. Their unique culture, traditions, and way of life have captured the attention of many, including Joe Rogan, the famous podcast host. On his show, The Joe Rogan Experience, he has often shared insights about the Maasai, their customs, and their extraordinary way of life. However, behind the rich cultural heritage and the incredibly colorful clothing and jewelry for which the Maasai are known, lies a deeper story of resilience and survival in the face of many challenges. Originally from North Africa, the Maasai migrated south in the 15th century. Their journey was not easy. Along the way, they acquired cattle from other tribes, cementing their deep connection with these animals. However, drought and disease decimated nearly half of their population and their herds at the beginning of the 20th century. As if that were not enough, the Maasai faced the arrival of European colonizers who took their lands. In 1911, a controversial treaty with British settlers forced the Maasai to give up the best parts of their territory, pushing them into less fertile lands in Kenya and Tanzania. Despite losing much of their land, the Maasai remain one of Africa's most iconic tribes. Although now restricted due to wildlife reserves, their presence in areas like the Masai Mara and Serengeti still echoes their strong connection to the land. Historically, the Maasai have coexisted with wildlife in these regions, often facing dangerous predators such as lions and cheetahs to protect their precious cattle. The Maasai are semi-nomadic, constantly moving in search of fertile land, so their herds can graze. For them, cattle are not just animals, they are a symbol of wealth and status. The more cows a Maasai owns, the more respect he earns within the community. Cattle are also central to Maasai traditions. They use cows as currency, exchanging them during marriages as part of the bride price. In their culture, wives are bought with cows, and the bond between families is strengthened through these exchanges. The Maasai diet is also deeply connected to their cattle. They rely on milk, blood, and meat, which contribute to their remarkable physical strength. In fact, the Maasai are among the tallest and strongest people in Africa, which is largely attributed to their calcium-rich diet. One of the most iconic Maasai practices is their jumping dance, known as Adamu. This goes beyond just a form of entertainment. It is a rite of passage for young Maasai. During the ceremony called Yoto, boys transitioning into warriors must perform the Adamu. The higher a young man can jump, the more attractive and respected he becomes. This jumping ability, often seen as a demonstration of strength, fascinates people all over the world. Tourists who visit Tanzania and Kenya are often invited to watch or even participate in the Adamu, although many quickly realize just how challenging it is to jump as high as the Maasai. Joe Rogan has often praised the physical abilities of the Maasai, especially their capacity to jump nearly a meter into the air without using their arms for momentum. What makes this even more remarkable is that they perform this feat without any equipment or modern training. Scientists have already studied the Maasai, but there remains something almost mystical about their ability to jump so effortlessly. Rogan mentioned how the Maasai seem to tap into something primal, a deep connection between their physical strength and their way of life. For the Maasai, the act of jumping is not just a physical display. It carries cultural and social meanings. It is a symbol of strength, maturity, and readiness to face life's challenges as a warrior. Even though many of their traditions may seem controversial or outdated in the modern world, the Maasai continue to uphold them with pride. The remarkable culture and physical prowess of the Maasai have earned them global recognition. However, they are not the only tribe in Africa with a unique and inspiring way of life. Guardian of the Amazon. While the Hadza and Maasai tribes struggle to survive in the face of the ever-expanding modern world, several ancient tribes in the Amazon have successfully resisted contact with the outside world. One such tribe is the Huarani, made up of about 4,000 individuals. They communicate in their own unique language, a linguistic isolate that is not related to any other known language. This distinct language sets them apart from other tribes and highlights their rich cultural heritage. The Huarani reside in a crucial part of Ecuador, deeply connected to their land. They love their home and have fought fiercely to protect it against outside invaders. However, as modern society continues to encroach on their territory, this struggle has become increasingly difficult. The rapid advance of technology poses a significant threat to their traditional way of life, with logging, oil extraction, and agricultural expansion encroaching on their forests. The Huarani find themselves facing challenges that put their very existence at risk. Because of these pressures, the Huarani have been forced to dramatically change their way of life. In the past, they thrived as hunter-gatherers, moving through the rainforest in search of food and resources. They relied on their deep knowledge of the land and its resources. However, with the encroachment of outsiders, their ability to hunt and gather in the same way has been diminished. Now, many Huarani live in permanent forest settlements, a significant change from their nomadic lifestyle. This transition illustrates the impact of modernity on indigenous cultures and raises questions about the sustainability of their traditions. Despite these challenges, the Huarani tribe has chosen to refuse contact with the outside world. Along with other tribes in the region, they resist attempts to integrate them into modern society. Some may consider this decision reckless, believing that they should embrace progress and development. However, for the Huarani, abandoning their long-standing traditions would be an unimaginable loss. They have lived in harmony with their environment for generations, and giving up their customs would be like betraying their own identity. Imagine living in a world where your neighbors invade your home, demanding that you change your way of life. The Huarani face this harsh reality every day as outsiders encroach upon their territory. The tribe's commitment to preserving their culture is a testament to their resilience. They are not just fighting for their land, they are fighting for their very way of life. The Hadza struggle for their identity. As the outside world encroaches upon their sacred lands, the Hadza tribe finds itself on the brink of transformation. Contemporary settlements and agricultural practices have deprived them of an astonishing 75 to 90% of their ancestral territory over the past 50 years. The urgency of their situation grows with each passing day, creating a palpable tension as they struggle to preserve their identity in an increasingly hostile environment. Despite their resilience, the challenges they face are immense. The Hadza do not possess domesticated animals, nor do they cultivate or store their own food, making them exceptionally vulnerable to external pressures. Their traditional way of life, rich in skills such as crafting bows and arrows from simple materials, is threatened by the advance of agriculture and land appropriation. Questions arise: will they be able to adapt without sacrificing their culture? Will their ancient ways of survival fade into obscurity? One striking aspect of the Hadza is their unique relationship with nature. They not only hunt, but also possess an almost supernatural ability to locate honey. The tribe's skill in communicating with birds is legendary. They often call upon their feathered friends to guide them to hidden beehives. This extraordinary connection highlights the tension between the modern worldview, which treats nature as a resource to be exploited, and the Hadza's profound respect for it. Their strength and remarkable levels of physical fitness are the result of a life full of challenges. Hadza children develop muscular bodies from an early age, enabling them to face the most dangerous animals in nature. This physique, honed by years of hunting and gathering, sparks curiosity and questions within the scientific community. How do they remain so healthy without modern diets or gyms? While scientists speculate about special microbes in their bodies that might help them digest raw foods, the mystery deepens, creating an intriguing tension between tradition and the unknown. However, as they share their world with curious visitors, the dynamic changes. Tourism offers income opportunities, but risks turning their culture into a commodity. The visitors' excitement at witnessing the honey-gathering rituals raises ethical dilemmas about authenticity and exploitation. Can the Hadza maintain their dignity as they navigate the complexities of modern life? The struggle of the Hadza tribe is a captivating story of survival against all odds. With each passing day, they face the reality of losing their way of life. Yet their fierce determination inspires hope. The indomitable Chukchi tribe. Now we have a tribe that no one wants to mess with, because unlike the cannibal tribes of Papua New Guinea and the Amazonian hunter-gatherers and other isolated tribes from tropical regions, these people live in one of the coldest places on the planet. The Chukchi have managed to survive on their own for centuries in a frozen hell at the heart of Siberia, where few dare to set foot. This tribe, which commands respect, thrives in extreme conditions and stands out for its resilience. This impressive group survives in one of the coldest regions on the planet, adapting to conditions that would challenge even the strongest individuals. With temperatures often dropping to extreme levels, survival is no easy task, but the Chukchi have mastered this frozen landscape over the centuries. Their remarkable ability to endure and thrive in such a harsh climate sets them apart from many other cultures. Historically, the Chukchi have demonstrated impressive tenacity. In the 18th century, the Russian army tried to subjugate them, launching numerous campaigns against the tribe. However, after 40 years of costly attempts, the Russians eventually gave up. This history shows that the Chukchi are not easily defeated. They fiercely protect their land, culture, and way of life against external pressures. Their resilience in the face of adversity has become a defining feature of their identity. To survive in this frozen environment, the Chukchi rely on a variety of traditional skills, honed over generations. Hunting plays a critical role in their daily lives, with reindeer serving as a vital source of food, clothing, and shelter. Imagine the Chukchi skillfully navigating the snowy wilderness, using their extensive knowledge of the land and wildlife to hunt effectively. They excel at tracking and moving across the ice-covered terrain, making them formidable hunters in their frozen domain. Between us, let's keep this a secret. Santa Claus wouldn't want to hear about hunting reindeer. The Chukchi also possess a rich spiritual life that profoundly influences their existence. They believe that after death, their spirits travel to the realm of the North Star, This belief fosters a deep connection with the environment, instilling a sense of purpose, and understanding of the cycles of life and death. Their funeral customs are unique. They place objects alongside the deceased, believing that these belongings will accompany them in the afterlife. This practice highlights their respect for the cycle of life and their enduring connection to the earth. Culturally, the Chukchi express themselves through a variety of spiritual practices, sustainable living, and creative endeavors. Their art, stories, and rituals reflect their intimate relationship with nature and the environment. Currently, local organizations, international partnerships, and government initiatives are striving to protect and preserve the rich heritage of the Chukchi. These efforts are vital to safeguard their traditional practices, languages, and stories from the growing influences of modern society. Their determination to maintain their way of life in a rapidly changing world serves as a powerful reminder of the strength of indigenous cultures. In a world that often ignores the wisdom of ancient peoples, the Chukchi stand as a testament to the enduring spirits of humanity. The dangerous cannibals of Papua New Guinea. Amazonian tribes may be firm in their policy of no contact with modern humans, but this next tribe would welcome any visitor with open arms, fires burning, and sharp utensils at the ready. After all, to them, humans from the outside world are their next meal. In the heart of Papua New Guinea, there is a tribe that defies not only social norms but also the very laws of physics. Unlike the well-documented Hadza and Huaorani tribes, who maintain a delicate balance with nature, the practices of this tribe venture into territory that defies understanding. Their cannibalistic rituals, deeply rooted in tradition, paint the picture of a culture that confronts life and death in ways many find disturbing. While the world modernizes rapidly, these people remain steadfast in their customs, even in the face of overwhelming adversity. Papua New Guinea is home to more than 900 tribes, with about 300 located in Western Papua. These tribes have distinct customs and languages, contributing to one of the most diverse cultures on the planet. Since gaining independence in 1975, the nation has faced governance challenges due to the myriad of local societies that need to be unified under a national identity. The island's tribes, once isolated, are increasingly being affected by the outside world, which threatens their way of life through deforestation, agriculture, and industrial encroachment. This constant threat creates a backdrop for the tribe's survival as they struggle to preserve their culture and their lands. Among these tribes, some have gained notoriety for their cannibalistic practices. Although often sensationalized, these practices obscure the deeper meanings these rituals hold for them. Cannibalism, though shocking to many, serves as a way to honor the deceased, keeping the spirit of loved ones alive within the community. Instead of burying or cremating their dead, these tribes believe that consuming the body prevents it from being eaten by worms, a fate considered dishonorable. The act of feasting on the deceased symbolizes respect and connection, embodying the belief that the spirits of their ancestors remain present in their lives. This tradition challenges the very notion of death, affirming that the deceased continue to play a vital role in the community. Cannibalism in Papua New Guinea is not a daily practice. It is reserved for specific rituals, particularly after conflicts with neighboring tribes. By consuming the bodies of defeated enemies, they believe they can ward off evil spirits and assert their victory. This practice is a significant part of their spiritual beliefs and helps maintain a sense of community and identity amid constant challenges. Despite modern influences, many tribes remain committed to their ancestral customs, which are often seen as backward by outsiders. However, this perspective fails to recognize the depth of their cultural practices. In an episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, a guest discussed how limited instances of cannibalism could protect tribe members from diseases often associated with the practice, such as kuru. Since they do not consume human flesh regularly, they are able to mitigate the risks associated with cannibalism. As globalization continues to encroach upon their ancestral homelands, these tribes face immense pressure to adapt or abandon their cherished customs and traditions. While the pygmies of the Congo struggle to confront various threats, including enemy tribes, modern humans, and the disastrous political conditions in Congo, there is a tribe in the Indian Ocean that has, quite remarkably, and against all odds, successfully kept everyone at bay. These people, known as the Sentinelese, are often considered the most formidable and isolated indigenous group. They inhabit a small forested island called North Sentinel, roughly the size of Manhattan, which is part of an archipelago that also includes another uncontacted tribe, the Champaigns. The Sentinelese continue to avoid any interaction with outsiders and confront anyone who comes near. In November 2018, John Allen Chow, an American missionary, was killed by the Sentinelese while attempting to convert them to Christianity. His illegal attempt at contact had the potential to wipe out the entire tribe by introducing new diseases such as the flu, to which they have no immunity. In 2006, two Indian fishermen, Sundar Raj and Pandit Tiwari, were killed when their boat, anchored near North Sentinel Island, broke loose and drifted to the shore. Poachers, illegal hunters, are known to fish in the waters around the island, capturing turtles and searching for lobsters and sea cucumbers. The Sentinelese have made it clear that they do not wish to communicate. A wise decision, considering the devastating impacts of British colonization on neighboring islands, where disease and bloodshed decimated indigenous peoples. What is known about the Sentinelese has, for the most part, been obtained by observing them from boats anchored at a safe distance out of arrow range, and during brief periods in the past, when the Sentinelese allowed authorities to approach to deliver coconuts. Even what they call themselves or their island is unknown, although neighboring peoples refer to North Sentinel as Shiadkwa. The Sentinelese hunt and gather in the forest and fish in the coastal waters. Unlike their neighbors, the Jarawa, they build narrow canoes with outriggers that are suitable only for shallow waters and are steered and propelled using a pole, similar to the European punt. The Sentinelese are a nomadic people of hunter-gatherers, divided into three groups, with two types of dwellings: large communal huts with several hearths for multiple families, and more temporary shelters with outsides, often seen on the beach, which accommodate a single family unit. The women wear fiber cords around their waists, necks, and heads. The men also wear necklaces and headbands, as well as thicker belts, and carry spears, bows, and arrows. Although they are often described in the media as a Stone Age people, this is not true. There is no reason to believe that the Sentinelese have lived in the same way, that is, for tens of thousands of years. Like any other people, they have adapted and modified their ways of life over time. For example, nowadays, they use metals found in shipwrecks or washed up on the beaches. The iron is sharpened and used for arrowheads. From a distance, the Sentinelese appear to be in excellent condition and thriving, unlike the peoples of the Great Andaman, who suffered from the British colonial authorities' attempts to civilize them. The Sentinelese, observed on the shores of North Sentinel Island, appear to be proud, robust, and healthy, with many observers noting a large number of children and pregnant women. They gained international attention after the 2004 Asian tsunami, when a Sentinelese was spotted on the beach, shooting arrows at a helicopter that was checking on their safety. At the end of the 19th century, M.V. Portman, a British officer, led an expedition to North Sentinel Island. They found recently abandoned camps, but the Sentinelese themselves were not located. They did, however, discover the bones of an elderly man, placed in a large basket, seated and hidden among the roots of a large tree, suggesting a unique funerary custom. Later, Portman kidnapped an elderly couple and 4 children for scientific purposes, taking them to Port Blair, the provincial capital. The adults fell ill and died, and the children were returned to the island with gifts. It is unknown how many Sentinelese became ill as a result of this contact, but it is likely that the children transmitted diseases, causing devastating impacts. During the 1970s, Indian authorities made occasional visits to North Sentinel Island in an attempt to establish friendly relations. During these visits, they left gifts such as coconuts, bananas, and pieces of iron. Sometimes the Sentinelese responded with friendly gestures. At other times, they would collect the gifts and then shoot arrows at the visitors. Currently, all visits to North Sentinel Island are prohibited and considered illegal by the Indian government in order to preserve the safety of the community and respect their choice to remain isolated. The Indian Coast Guard patrols a protected zone around the island to prevent outsiders from approaching. The Pygmies of the Congo. What if the smallest people in the world held survival secrets, capable of captivating the imagination? Their ability to navigate dense forests surpasses that of many Amazonian tribes. However, these people would have difficulty surviving in conditions like those faced by the Chukchi, since they are so accustomed to the African climate. The Pygmies of the Congo form a group that combines an incredible history of resilience with a journey filled with dangers. Although the term pygmy is currently considered pejorative, it has been used to describe various tribes of Central Africa. Among them, the Mbuti people stand out, inhabiting the Ituri forest in northern Congo. The tallest members of this tribe rarely exceed 1.5 meters in height. This small stature is not just a genetic trait, but also allows them to navigate the dense forests more effectively than taller individuals. The indigenous peoples of the Congo Basin are a diverse collection of groups that include nomadic forest dwellers. These groups, such as the Baka, Aka, and Mbuti, vary in size, ranging from tens of thousands of individuals to fewer than 500, as is the case with the Bedzan. Despite their differences, they share languages, customs, and live closely with non-pygmy communities. Currently, approximately 900,000 pygmies inhabit the Congo Basin, with smaller populations in neighboring countries such as Rwanda, Burundi, and Zambia. These small communities have preserved their hunting and gathering culture for thousands of years. Research shows that the tallest men in these tribes are just over 1 meter and 20 centimeters tall. Even so, they thrive as skilled hunters. Their height does not hinder them. On the contrary, their strength and ingenuity allow them to hunt large animals using tools they make themselves. However, their way of life is under constant threat. Historically, the pygmies have faced serious dangers, including violent attacks from cannibal tribes. Their small size made them vulnerable targets for those who saw them as prey. This reality creates a frightening tension around their existence. Imagine being part of a tribe that has to hide from other humans who see you not as an equal, but as a possible meal. Some explorers and photographers have ventured into the Congo to document the lives of these tribes. Forrest Galante, a well-known explorer, captured stunning images of the pygmies. He noted that, although awareness of the dangers they face has increased, many believe that some tribes may have been wiped out due to hunting and cannibalism. If such brutal practices still continue today, we can only imagine how widespread they were in the past. The idea that entire tribes may have disappeared without anyone knowing raises serious concerns. Although the darker aspects of their past may be disturbing, it is possible to admire the resilience of the pygmies, who continue to thrive in their natural habitat. The pygmies represent a remarkable phenomenon in anthropology. They are not just a group of small people. They are a testament to human adaptability. With nearly 1 million pygmies living in the forests, their history is both tragic and inspiring. The pygmies of the Congo remain one of the most fascinating tribes in the world, urging us to take action to protect their unique culture and way of life. Their future is at risk, making their story even more urgent and captivating.